Showtime. That's what it says right here on StreamYard. Look at these.
Wow.
Look at these mugs. Best looking quality mugs on LinkedIn Live. You're only going to find them right here. Jenny Winny and the Average Dude. Another week.
Another week
of just being human. I've said that a lot. You know, you say being human more and more, and you start. What comes to mind when I say, "Hey, it's about being a human being," Jenny?
I think it's when you say that, I think like unpretentious.
Unpretentious. There you go. Yeah. Before we have the titles, before we have the accomplishments, before we have all those things.
Yep. We're just
human beings.
I was just Jenny Winny.
Yeah.
Now I get to be part of Jenny Winny, the Average Dude.
Yeah. See the progress you're making, the evolution of Jenny Winny. Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. There's Eric Swanson. And I like that. See, he doesn't say Average Dude. He just says dude.
But hey, Eric, who has the better mug? Me or Daniel?
Yeah.
Be honest. Okay.
He sees my mug every Friday. That's where we meet with Eric's at Eric's place of business, Wolverine Coatings, across from Dorman High School. Our guest today is from Spartanburg, so she probably knows where Dorman High School is.
Yeah. Wait a minute. So it's down the new Dorman. See, I don't know why my mind always goes back to,
the old Dorman. That's what somebody told me the other day. I was talking to, she was from Spartanburg. Mm-hmm. And you by far, and by you, he means Jenny Winny. So
absolutely, Eric.
Yeah. Groot. Robin says Groot. I didn't know that it was Groot, but
Robin, thank you. It's Groot. This is Groot. He says Groot. Yeah.
Groot. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to tell you about real quick is we had Mom and Dad's anniversary kind of get together. Took them to Top Golf. I don't know if you've seen pictures there on the social media or not.
No.
They didn't post any, but that was a good time. What were you going to say?
I said they were embarrassed. Did you embarrass them?
No. I not until. So we have this thing where each sibling tries to come up with the most creative card for Mom and Dad, Nina and Papa. And so we went and played Top Golf, did that whole thing, got some food, took it back to David's house, my brother's house. And then we each take turns and we make it into a competition. Who can make everybody laugh the most, essentially, right? It's like little stand-up comedy routines and some sibling competition. I never heard anybody.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. So this year I pulled out a surprise. I did a voice. I do voices, but I brought in one of the people that I used to work with. His name's Tony.
And Tony's got a very interesting voice.
But I did this whole bit. I'm not going to do it right now, but
you should.
It was kind of funny, Jenny.
It is.
The kids loved it. The kids absolutely were rolling. Of course, they're toddlers, but they were rolling. They were rolling around. They thought that was hilarious. So,
hey, Rodney,
made me feel good.
Well, Rodney, just so you and Robin know, I learned a little bit about PEOs today that I didn't know.
PEOs. Now, I keep hearing that acronym. No idea what a PEO is.
Yeah, I'm still not completely sure. It's
Rodney, for your next post, please, for the
comment.
Dude, please.
Mm-hmm.
Break it down. I mean, simple, man. Simple.
Human relations in a company. I'm not sure, but we need more Tony.
We definitely need more Tony for sure. Absolutely.
Hey, I got something that I want to kind of throw up here.
Okay.
First of all, it just is. I mean, I don't know. It's going to take us. We've all seen it. Well, okay. Robin probably hadn't seen it because he wasn't alive. Okay.
What do you got, Danny?
All right, here we go.
Not here to start no trouble. We're just here to do the Super Bowl show.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more mans. We had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ. And we're
I mean, come on.
Now that's old school, Jenny.
Oh, come on. So that means
that is old school.
Yeah. It is. But it takes me back to 6th grade. So Bridget, I think that, our next guest, she's either a year or 2 younger than me. But
I'm young too. I'm young too, like y'all.
we don't talk about your age, okay? We don't talk.
Just
But let me just say this. I was in that little video. I got to be who was the quarterback?
Oh, Steve McMahon. Yeah.
I got to be him in school. We lip synced it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, look at you, B. I was like, oh yeah. I thought I was something.
Do you remember the lyrics for McMahon's?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just give me one line of the lyric. You don't have to go into full character. But I would like to see.
I'm the punky Q or funky QB known as McMahon. When I hit the turf, I ain't got no plan. I just throw my body all over the field. I can't dance, but I can throw the peel.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I want to do this real quick, okay?
Sorry, guys. They're on my case because I got the memory isn't all that great.
What is?
We're talking about Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon is his name, actually. Johnny Carson's sidekick.
Oh yeah. But it was yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Doesn't matter, y'all. It doesn't matter. It was McMahon. He was the QB. But okay, so
we got to teach those guys up from Boston about football and how it really goes down. We know how to do football here in the South. So
that's what I'm saying. Okay. Also, I'd like to throw this out there. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about we talk about age. Okay. This is just a little something that I think will make us all feel a little more human.
a little more human. That's always a good thing.
Well, it is. Okay. I just would like to say this. These are, high school and stuff. I won't say was my best looking years. Just saying.
That's who. Whoa. Okay.
Who is this? These are celebrities.
These are celebrity pictures.
High school photos.
High school celebrities taking it back. I'm looking. This is gonna be tough for me. Hey, how about Eric and Rodney? I know these guys. These guys probably know. Give us an answer.
Mm-hmm.
Bridget may know.
Well, y'all will know when you see her. I'll just say she really looks different now.
She really looks different. Okay, let's see.
Oh, Rodney. He did a little reverse image search, I bet. Madonna.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Good, Rodney. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's
This little fella.
now he looks like somebody.
Well, he is somebody.
Wait a minute. Who is that's
He's probably watching right now and he's gonna be like, what?
who is that? Joe Biden.
Nope.
I don't think that's Joe.
Here we go. Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
yep. So I'm gonna save some of those for y'all.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Uh-huh.
So one more thing. We've got all of these different things that we want to do, and so we're trying them out. But one thing I thought we would do is before we bring Bridget on, Bridget Bartley is our guest today.
Yep.
I'm gonna bring up this image, and I want everybody. We're gonna take some guesses, make some assumptions, and then we're gonna ask Bridget, and we'll find out. So he looks homeschooled, man. You should have never given him that, Jenny.
I know. Hey, Rodney, I like this segment too. It makes me feel better because, and what I was gonna do is kind of pull up an image of me and Daniel and show us now. But okay, what, Daniel? You just went nuts there.
I know. There it is. Okay, we're leaving it right there. That's our guest today. So we're going to make some assumptions. I've got some questions. I want everybody to make a guess. So if you're listening, if you're watching, please use the comment section. Give us your guess. The first thing that I want to ask Bridget.
Bridget says, I did not sign up for this. Hello.
Yeah, the first question that I'm going to ask Bridget is, does she like rap music? Does she like rap music? And I just need a yes or a no. Jenny Winny, does she like rap?
As a whole?
As a whole. Just what do you think?
No. As a whole, no.
As
a whole, no. I would say they're selective, maybe.
Well, that just disintegrates it into nothing. That can apply to anybody. I need a definitive, black or white. Does she like rap?
No.
And
yes, maybe. I don't know, Daniel.
I'm going
Okay,
I'm
Freddie,
going.
just answer the question. I say no.
Thank you, Skip. I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to say that she likes rap music.
Okay.
Number 2, and I need comments. That's you too, Freddie. Number 2. All right. This is if she was going to have a celebrity crush, Brad Pitt or Andy Griffith? Brad Pitt or Andy Griffith? That's question number 2.
Okay. I, Daniel, why do you do this? Why?
I've got to know. I've got to know. I'm curious.
Okay, because I think that Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Freddie goes with Andy.
I'm gonna be like Bridget. Blink once behind stage if it was Brad Pitt.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna actually have our
okay,
guest
Freddie.
on.
Okay.
All right. Number 3, and I need other good questions too if you got them. Ketchup or mustard on the corn dog? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Ketchup or mustard on the corn dog? No qualifying. No qualifying. We'll find out when Bridget qualifies.
Yeah. Ketchup.
Ketchup.
Yeah. What do you say?
Rodney says that she thinks she would like rap. Okay, so I'm going to say yes on rap music. Yes on rap music. Number 2, I'm going to say Andy Griffith, the wise man, Andy. And then number 3, we're going to say
Mayo.
I'm going to say mustard. I'm going to say mustard. And Rodney says mayo. So
and anyone who picks Andy over Brad should be waterboarded. But listen, you know what, Eric? We're about deeper substance. Okay?
Yeah, man. Seriously.
Without further ado,
let's go ahead and invite our guest, Bridget Bartley, to the stream. Here she comes.
Okay.
Hello, Bridget. So
I love hearing perceptions of me.
yes, before you came in, we've already made some assumptions. But we do that. Don't human beings, when we see just an image of someone, that's why I wanted to put up that picture. We think of who is this person, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at me. I'm like, you're not talking to me, but I'm like, yeah, I do.
So we've known Bridget. I say I've known Bridget. I've met her just a handful of times, but you're from Spartanburg, and it's been so fun to kind of watch from a distance through social media as you've done all these exciting things. So we're going to get into it, but we're going to do things a little bit differently, Bridget. So are you ready to have some fun?
I'm ready.
I like it. Yeah, I'm so glad that you answered that way. So number 1 question that I asked was, do you like rap music?
Yes. And not only do I like it, I can sing like word for word to Busta Rhymes.
Wow.
Like every word.
Wait, Bridget. Did you
Thanks,
not just hear me do the Super Bowl shuffle?
I don't know.
I mean, that was kind of a big deal.
I like the dance rap, like the good, like the old school rap. But I love rap music. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I know that you used to love working out, maybe do some Orange Theory and things like that, didn't you?
Yeah, still do. And yeah, that's literally what I play is rap music when I'm working out.
Yeah. See, I had remembered a post a long time ago. It was talking about Orange Theory. So when I thought about it,
that was not a very good question to ask then, Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
So I had to come up with I figured, knowing that she did Orange Theory, I said, you know what? I bet she likes rap music because rap music gives you that energy.
It does. It does. It's true.
Yeah. So moving on. Question number 2, and now this one caused a little disruptions there in the comments. But Brad Pitt or Andy Griffith, celebrity crush, Brad Pitt or Andy Griffith.
I know, and my answer may shock some people. I saw some of the comments where it's like, if she chooses Andy Griffith, she needs to be
I was thinking Andy.
But so the thing about just again judging people from like the image, but Andy Griffith is more like hometown guy, like humble. He's somebody if the world shuts down, like you want to be stuck with because he can, take care of you kind of thing. And I'm just making the assumption of somebody in Hollywood, they're probably a little egoic, a little too image driven, a little too into the worldly stuff. But again, that's just completely from the surface. Now, who looks better? Brad Pitt. I'm just looking at like the overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that answer. Jenny, what did you?
I
Andy
said
Griffith
Brad,
has
but
a
in my
medley.
mind, I was thinking Andy is who for. See, I always think personality wise. I always think it's not about the looks. It's about Andy. Well, Andy did have that on the side.
These are the quality individuals that show up for Jenny, Winny, and the Average Dude.
I mean, if he has, the labs, I mean, he's resourceful. He's smart. He knows how to conjure, right?
Exactly. I think Eric doesn't like him because he's from the South.
Yeah.
That's it. Mayberry.
So, one final question. Then we're going to get into some more fun.
Ready.
Ketchup or mustard on your corn dog?
I know, and I wish there could be an answer for both, but I choose mustard.
Choose mustard. All right.
I choose mustard.
Yeah.
I got it.
Now let's go ahead and get this. Where does ketchup go? When do we apply the mustard rule? When do we apply the ketchup rule?
So when I eat a corn dog, I'll actually have two piles of ketchup and the mustard. I actually dip one and take a bite and then dip the mustard. So I alternate.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll dip it, so it's like half ketchup, half mustard.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of.
So I was kind of, sort of right.
It's a little odd.
Jenny, if you want to say that you were right, just to kind of give yourself a little something, go ahead and there you go. Yeah, you got that one right. I got 3 for 3.
Well, good for you.
I just feel so good. We can end the show now, and I'm going to be
Yeah, that's fine.
for the rest of the day.
And you were both right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody gets a ribbon, Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like participation ribbon.
So one of the things that we've started doing, Bridget, is we bring up these images. And the cool thing about an image, it takes you somewhere, right? It makes you remember a story. It makes you remember a time, a place. It's like a time machine.
Mhm.
It's like a Google search engine. Our brain, we show an image and boom, 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 boom. Where does it take you?
Mhm.
So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna show you some images.
Okay.
And see where it takes you. So Jenny, Winny, why don't you show one of yours first?
Well, okay, Daniel. Thank you. All right. Here we go. I mean, it takes you somewhere.
Yeah. Now this would be what you would hand to Andy Griffith, I guess.
I know. Oh my
For
God.
those of you that can't read, it says, "Do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe."
Yeah. You got to check one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where does that take you, Bridget?
Oh, definitely back to like elementary and middle school for sure.
Yeah. And
Did
those-
you enjoy those times in elementary school?
Oh man, not really. Well, looking back compared to adulthood, because I even tell my kids like being an adult is overrated. It's not what we think that it is.
Yeah.
But no, I don't miss those at all. No.
Oh, that kind of note gave me anxiety because it's
Yeah.
like, it's usually like, I don't know, maybe I don't want to hurt your feelings,
I know.
Andy.
We were scared. We were scared to speak up. We were scared
Uh-huh.
to speak our voice, because we want to fit in. But
Yep. Oh, I know. Exactly.
Now I've got a question for you ladies. On the recess playground in elementary school, were you playing freeze tag or what were you playing on the playground? Freeze tag?
freeze tag and do you remember red light, green light, go?
Yes. Red light, green light.
Go.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Those
We
were
would
great
go
times.
outside and we would yell, "Boys chase the girls," and then they'd say, "Girls chase the boys." And it was just.
Oh yeah, those were great times though. Running around on the recess playground.
Oh, actually, you know what? It just triggered a memory, Daniel. We had a game that we called it Cannibals. I know that sounds terrible, isn't it?
It does sound good. That's why I turned out that way.
But it was cannibals. Okay.
All right, give us another one, Jenny.
Okay, I am. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to pull a different one up. This one's going to be a word and just what it, means.
Wait, look at this. This guy. Oh, family. What comes to mind, Bridget Bartley, when you see the word family? What comes to mind?
I think of just unity, and I think of memories.
Absolutely.
I
Making
think it's
memories.
also core, because families are core.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I've noticed that, like, recently, I don't know what the word was you said, but it's funny because I've been saying, like, this whole, as I get older, I'm like, my whole life now is hashtag making memories, making memory. We're making a memory, And to me, the older I get, that's more how it is with the family thing. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's like, I don't want to miss a memory. I don't want to miss the opportunity, to go back.
Because as we get older, what family means and the importance of family, it starts to change, doesn't it? And we start taking different positions.
Yeah. And also, to put it in relative terms, we've lived more life than we have left to live.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
It is very crazy. And we're all around the same age, but yeah, that really, hey, average dude, Joe Ayana sent me. Great, Tim. Glad that you could be here. Wish that Joe was here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an ink blot that I'm going to show Bridget.
Okay.
Here it goes. What comes to mind when you see this image right here?
First impressions.
Boom. Thank you, Bridget.
Mm-hmm.
You nailed it. That's what that first impressions. Now, what would you say makes a good first impression, Bridget?
In looking at this photo, I think eye contact and also how you shake a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think how someone shakes a hand says a lot about that person, how assertive they are, or either how meek or mild they are.
Mm-hmm.
But just their overall body language when you first meet someone, if they're smiling, the eye contact, how they're dressed.
Yes.
The overall appearance.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Jeannie? What do you think about when you hear first impression?
Well, this is my thing too, is that just in general, not, I think about how, everybody says you only have one chance to make a first impression and this and that. But a lot of times you're misjudged by a first impression,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, it's like, oh, well, they automatically decide, hey, she's this or she's that, and it's just not the case. So many times people who become my friends later, they're like, oh, you're not anything like I thought you were. And I was like, well, that says a lot about me. You know what I mean? But I feel like, you are very successful in business. So how important is it for first impressions for you?
I think it's important, especially depending on which business I'm working with. But in the brick and mortar business, like with the hair salons and restaurants, first impression is a big deal for the customers coming in, but also from my coaching business, first impressions, because if I'm looking to recruit other leaders, I want to see how they are with, how articulate are they? How friendly are they? But I know sometimes I've been misread by first impressions because as much as I love to speak and write and live out there, I'm naturally an introverted person. And so a lot of times when people first see us online and they expect when I'm out, I'm going to always be like bubbly and like, woohoo.
Yeah.
But if I'm just quiet, and it gets misread.
Well, it's
and
like all of a sudden then it's like she's stuck up.
Yeah, right. It's a total misconception.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just having a whole conversation in my head.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm problem solving, and I'm having a whole thing, a whole nother situation happening there that y'all don't know about.
That's right. We can get into our heads. And that's why I was trying to play into that. So we've only met a couple of times, Bridget, but of course we remember those times. I still remember the Toastmasters that you came to.
Yeah.
And, but we have these first impressions. We make these assumptions. A lot of times those assumptions are more about who we are than who the person that we're meeting is. And I've learned to kind of really turn that off. And making assumptions, I've come to realize very often it has more to do with me than it does who they are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that was 6 years ago, Daniel. I don't know. It was 2017 to be exact. That's how long we've known each other.
That's crazy, isn't it
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
I mean-
remember. I remember like it was yesterday. Like I was lost in the building, and my first impression of you were so friendly and so cordial,
Yeah.
and so inviting. And I was like, he is like, they're so nice. Like it was just, when you're lost, per
Yes.
se, and you have someone on the other side helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
All of a sudden you don't feel like that outsider, it's
Yeah.
like, because
Yeah.
it's like not knowing what's going on and you just feel weird. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Daniel, I'm proud of you.
What did you think about the Toastmasters experience?
I liked it. It was, I thought it was a great tool for people to speak. For me, like how I like to speak is a little different, like the pressure of it, but I thought it was amazing. An amazing, tool. I thought it was great for networking. I only went a few times.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that too. I think for the cost and the experience that you get,
Yeah.
I mean it's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
All right, Jenny Winnie, your turn on the ink blot. Take us somewhere.
Okay. Well, I just want to know what this makes you.
Perception.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of times I feel like perception of ourselves.
Yes. Because
You know what I mean?
because what we see is not what other people see.
I know.
And then that can go in a whole different ways. As women, we can look and pick ourselves apart, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. But then what other people see can be completely different. Because we see our flaws. We don't see all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: do y'all think it's tougher for females as they age, or males as they age? Which is tougher on aging?
Female.
From a physical standpoint,
Both, all standpoints.
I've never heard a man complain about aging.
No, they're like, we just get better with age.
Yeah, I know.
And
Like,
we're like,
we age
oh
like
my
35.
God. And they're like, yeah. He's like, oh, he's a gray fox. And they're like, he's just an old woman.
He's like Andy Griffith. He's
Yeah.
like Andy Griffith.
I'm sorry. It's like, you look at actors, a lot of them are better looking now. Like Harrison
Right.
Ford and stuff. You're like, okay, age has done really great for you. Okay. Yeah. So, but I like a lot of your posts and stuff resonate with me because I feel like you said, like we have the worst image of ourselves. You know what I mean? And like you've even posted like body image, aging, all those kind of things. You're a mom, and it's like I so get that. And as I get older, how does that with me with work? It just I feel like the older I get, the easier it is just to say I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like just be me. That's like Daniel's saying about being human. It's like I don't care. You want to present your best self, but also it's like this is who I am.
Right. And I think the biggest thing too is not only maybe that we don't care as much, but we realize it doesn't matter. Like those things don't matter. And for me, like when I see women out, I am a huge proponent of just complimenting other women because I know how hard or challenging it is to be a woman, and a lot of times when women get dressed, I don't even say a lot. I think most of the time when we get dressed or we're doing something, it's for other women. It is not for men because we know what it's like to be women. And I have friends that are like flawless and they will pick themselves apart. And I'm like, do you hear yourself right now? Like,
I know.
are you kidding me? But again, like we are our worst critics.
I agree. And we do. We dress for each other, Daniel. We dress for y'all.
It's true. Sorry,
Yeah.
Now,
Daniel.
let me ask you something. As you make progress, Bridget, I know you've been on this kind of personal development journey and learning things and growing. Do those insecurities, those things that we have, do those fade away? Do they go away completely? What's been your experience with that?
I think they do fade away because it goes back to what I was sharing. I think you just realize it doesn't matter. And where the world has conditioned us that what's important is really what's not important. Going back to when you and I first met, I was in my online business and still have it, but it's not as focused right now. But when I was working with my coach, it was all about, what success looks like. And for me, success at that time was a certain way. But in reality now, success is more about the freedom. It's about like the house. We're told it's about the house and the car and the bank account and the ranks and the recognitions and the awards and all these tangible things. But then you have it and you're like, wait, but I'm still not happy.
Exactly.
And that's been my journey, is I still wasn't happy. And I'm like, why am I not happy? I have all the things that I've worked for. And then for me, I sold everything back in 2018, 19, because I'm like, it was almost like I felt like I bought into the lie of what was being told to us. And so then it's going back to what you were saying, Jenny, it's about the memories. And, it just hit me one day, and it was really an accident that I had that really woke me up. And I think that things like that happen for us in our lives to wake us up. And I realized, okay, if I died, which I medically probably should have, I would have left my kids with what, like maybe some assets. But in reality, I wanted them to be left with memories, because I looked back at, okay, we went to New York for Christmas. I took them to the Bahamas. I did these things, and we still talk about those memories. And those are so priceless. And we still, now that they're older, they talk about like, hey mom, do you remember when we were in Charleston on the banana boat and Thomas almost fell off? And it's about the memories now. And I know we have to work for money. And so it's like, we work to have the things that create those memories.
Yeah. Because I feel like it's like when we're younger, we put our priorities is on making money and like, okay. And then, that person, they got a nicer house. So let's try to get a nicer house and but then after a while I was like, I don't care. I'm like you. And so, I mean, even the other day, even though my daughter and I, we did a little memory trip up to New York, we took Amtrak just to go see a play and everything.
Fun.
Just the other day, she says, I miss us doing that. Even though it's just the other month, she's like, I want to do it again. I'm like, and she's 19. I'm like, okay, and your 19-year-old still wants to be with you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something's wrong, either with her or with her mother.
Gotta be Maggie.
Because Jenny's perfect.
Yeah, Jenny's perfect. So I don't know.
It's the daughter.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've got a scenario for you, Bridget.
I'd like to have the memory of inheriting $1 million. That would be a good memory, Eric.
So let's pretend that we're in the future, 50 years in the future, and you are programming a travel time machine, kind of artificial intelligence, and you can come up with the greatest vacation package ever. So what would you include? Kind of Mr. Potato Head, right? You're just putting different characteristics on this trip. Put together the ideal, let's say 3 or 4 day getaway. I know you've done a lot of traveling here recently. Can you bring in some features from different places that are absolute must to be on this dream vacation that you're creating?
So as far as places, I would think,
and things to do too.
Okay. So one of the things, and these are just the places I've gone over the last, 20 years, but Israel, because just the whole energy of it there, the stories, the history that's there.
Yeah.
While you're in Israel, I would definitely go to Egypt to see the pyramids. Again, the stories, I had no idea the history of the pyramids and the gods and goddesses that's all there with the history. And
that would be interesting.
And one of the things, and I didn't know this, but there's a mystery capstone that's in Egypt. And not only they don't know how it got there, but the stone that this capstone is made of is not even found anywhere in the world. And so it's like, how do you explain that?
Yeah, well, how do we explain that?
And so that's the kind of stuff, that I think people, to experience. And also Bora Bora. Bora Bora was probably one of the most beautiful places as far as the water, the ocean, the mountains, the hiking. I think Sedona, Arizona is incredible because the hiking in the mountains in Sedona is incredible as well. And
gosh,
wow, we could.
Those are three.
It's weird though. I mean, Bridget, I'm going to be honest. It's weird that you didn't throw Myrtle Beach in there. Okay,
I know. I mean, I was born and raised there and haven't been back. So.
Well, you were born and raised in Myrtle Beach.
I was, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I moved to Gray Court, South Carolina in 7th grade. Grew up on a small farm. But yeah, I was born and raised in
Woodruff.
Myrtle Beach.
That Woodruff area.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I was like, I mean, there's Israel and there's Bora Bora and then there's Myrtle Beach.
I mean, and for me, I'm one of those people too. Like, I don't like things that are too commercialized.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
We were just in Naples, Florida last week, and it's off season, and no one was there.
Yes.
And to me, it was like for us, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Not many people were there. The weather was perfect.
Yeah, I
Those
agree
would
with you.
be my top three. A fourth as a bonus while you're flying from one to the other is I really love Seoul, South Korea. I loved Seoul, South Carolina.
Interesting.
The people, the fashion. I loved how they dressed. I loved it was just a very clean city. And again, like the history of it, like seeing the palaces there.
Mhm.
I had no idea the history of the palaces. I'm not a history expert, but I love the stories
Yeah.
that come with these cities. And one of the things that we love to do is we were in Vietnam earlier this year, which, is where my mom's family is from. And so we went there. And when we go to these countries, we love just basking in the culture of it. So
Yeah.
we'll look at like TripAdvisor, we'll look at things online, and like we'll do like cooking classes in people's homes to really
Ooh,
learn about the
cool.
culture. I mean, when we travel, we're not like, hey, let's sit on the beach and have a few cocktails. Like, we're like actually in the culture with the locals and learning.
That's
And
awesome.
you come back and you're just so much more appreciative of what we have here.
Yeah.
But also sometimes how backwards we are here, and
Mhm.
also how we overwork and how we overcommit.
Yep.
And it's interesting. I'll say this and I'll be done talking about like perception image. I realized over the last few years how America is the only country that women are so just vain. In other countries, they're not doing, implants and nose jobs and the injections and stuff. They're just naturally beautiful. They're not like size 2 stick skinny. Like, they're just naturally curvy and beautiful, and they're aging gracefully and they're beautiful.
Yep.
So it really helps give me a different perspective of like our culture.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Where does that take your mind? I've got things that made me think about a lot, Jenny.
Well, it made me think about a lot too. But I know I was like, when you were saying about that we like we're stressed, we're overworked, we don't take the time, like what you were saying, and it was something you had posted recently too, is about like you felt successful if you were like, okay, I got to get this done, I'm stressed and this, and then you felt fulfilled, like not fulfilled, but you felt like, oh yeah, now this is me because I'm busy means I'm successful or
Yes.
whatever. And now what changed?
Well, just realizing that we can't get our time back, and realizing, how our life can change at any moment.
And it wasn't fulfilling either. It's like,
yeah.
you just stressed
Well,
out
and it's
all the
just
time.
like, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, again, it's just stuff. And, like with your daughter, you went to New York, and that was like way more fulfilling than like, hey girl, I just bought you a new pair of sunglasses.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's the satisfaction, the gratification is so different.
Yep.
You can still have that memory the rest of her life going
Oh,
up
yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah. Well, it takes you to that experience. That's what I love about these ink blots. It takes you back to that actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I love, of all the places you mentioned, I think Egypt has always interested me, and like you're doing, kind of getting involved in the culture, seeing how other people live and think. They're human beings too.
Yeah.
Right? And this is how they're spending their time and energy. Maybe there's something I can learn from that, right? Because we're spending our time and energy like how all the other fish in our pond are spending their time and energy, right? Yeah. And there's a big world. A lot of people are doing a lot of different things with theirs. So
Yeah.
I think that would be, so that was what would be a growth thing about travel, is like, hey, you're learning other people's perspectives. So that's cool. He says he feels compelled to mention that he graduated from Seoul American High School, which makes him special and better than homeschooled kids, which is unfortunate, seeing as how I was homeschooled, Jenny.
But you were only homeschooled like the last little bit.
Yeah, the last 2 years. The last 2 years. So I'm only.
She was homeschooled from 6th grade on because she had severe anxiety, OCD, and everything. And so our dear friend, he has another show, the second best show on LinkedIn. And he made a comment, and I was like, hey, simmer down about homeschool kids. I was like, my daughter, and he's like, they're weird. And I'm like, you can't say that. You can't say that. So now he just has to throw it in whenever he can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have something I want to pop up.
Okay, pop it up.
You know what it means to you. I mean, because I kind of got an idea because I saw it on.
Oh, yes. Oh, look. Yeah.
I mean, so we can see it good. Wait a minute. Pull that back up. Let me see you, Army.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay. I was right. Yeah. Okay. What does that mean to you?
So it's actually, it's in Hebrew, but it means I am who I am.
Mhm.
Ah,
And so it's multifaceted meaning for me. One, on just the personal development side, is just in part of my personal development years ago, is one of the things that I was asked is, who is Bridget?
Mhm.
You know, it's like, who is Daniel? Who's Jenny?
Who
Like,
is the person?
Who is Bridget? Not the mom, not the businesswoman, not the network marketer, not all these titles,
Not
not the
these
hats
titles.
there. But
Mhm.
if you lost everything you had, no money, nothing, like, who is Bridget? Like, who is Bridget in your soul? And so, we identified 5 things that Bridget is, or what Bridget loves. And so that's part, and I am statements. I'm big on affirmations. And so when you say I am,
Mhm.
you're affirming that, and it's programming into your subconscious. So I am who I am, but also it's a Bible scripture. I am who I am. And it's when Moses was sent out to, represent and, be the leader.
Mhm.
And so he was asking God, well, who do I tell them who you are? And God just said, I am who I am. And he said, just trust me, I'll save you and I'll be there with you. And so for me, that's symbolic, because there's been several times in my life, from childhood to, adulthood, that I feel like God has always been there for me. Like, there's things that happen. It's just supernatural. Like,
Mhm.
how do you explain it? I don't know. I mean, it's just supernatural.
Mhm.
And
Oh.
so, yeah.
you know where that took me? It took me to Gilligan's Island. Gilligan's Island, and this is why. I know it's a stretch.
Wait a second. Let me make a calculation here. Okay. I am Hebrew. Gilligan's Island. That's it. Got it.
Gilligan's Island. It took me, and this is why, because at the end of the day, when we're in this new environment, the value that we bring to the table, who we are. Thurston Howell III, he had all the money, right?
It didn't matter.
We were loaded. You're on the desert island, Thurston. Your money's no good to us.
Yep.
What can you do for us, right? And in the show, remember, you really wanted to be buddies with the professor, because this guy, he was making radios out of coconuts.
I know.
He was MacGyvering things.
It's like Brad Pitt and Andy Griffith.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank
Who do
you.
you want to be on an island with? Brad Pitt or Andy
Yeah.
Griffith?
There you go. Hey, for the next guest, that's going to be how we introduce that.
It is. Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point, though, Daniel. You can be so successful, and then you're on an island, and none of that helps you at all.
Yeah. Well, I think about like the military or prison is probably a tougher one, but you're going to shave everybody's hair. You're going to put them in the same clothes. All of a sudden, we realize how similar we actually are.
Yeah.
Playing by the same rules. You're not going to see much different in IQ or social or economic status. I mean, everybody's wearing the same thing, right? That gets it down to what I thought Bridget was talking about, which is just who are you? As a human being, I'm capable and I'm able to do certain things. How can I be of value in this new environment and contribute, right? So, all right, there's the question mark. See, we're trying to bring in all of our old
question mark, because Daniel, sometimes he won't let me speak. But there was something I wanted to ask you. So it's who you are now and everything you've been through. If you could, so let's go back to 18-year-old Bridget, who's graduating high school, but the things, you're the mentor. What are the 3 pieces of advice you would give 18-year-old Bridget for life, knowing what you know now?
So the first one, I would say, listen to your intuition. And I say that because there were times that intuitively in my mind, I knew that I should or should not do a certain thing. But because I listened to other people, I went that path. but then always came back to what I felt, was
Trust your gut.
yeah.
Mhm. That's good.
The second is probably the hangover isn't worth it. And many nights
Drink
that,
some water.
yeah, like,
That's
it's
funny.
just those party nights were fun, but the time lost, the next day or two with the hangover, like it's not worth it.
Amen to that.
And then the third is just to truly just be yourself. And again, I know that we hear that a lot, and it's easier said than done, but it goes back to, we hear so much of like from the world, like
Mhm.
what is success? Success to each of us, the three of us, is going to be different.
Mhm.
So really getting in tune with like myself and staying on that path versus listening to other people.
And judging yourself by the world standards. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
Even with any business, it's like a customer is a customer. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't
Right.
matter if they have $10 million in the bank or they have $10 in the bank. To me, it's like they're all people, so you
Right.
can't judge it by that.
Yeah. Oh, completely. And it's not that, it's not maybe not listening to people, but sometimes I would be too impressionable.
Mhm.
And so I would just like, well, I think I should go left, but all of you are telling me to go right. So I'll go
Yes.
left.
Yes.
And it kind of goes in with intuition at all. But yeah, on a side note, we were talking about, people with $10 or $10 million. I really had an eye opener being in luxury real estate as an agent, because I would have clients that would pull up in, a Toyota Prius that, would look like they didn't have $1,000 to their name, but then they'd write a check for $1.5 million, for a house, and they'd close in 2 weeks.
I like how you use me as that example, Bridget.
I don't want to name, because of, contract and secrecy.
I just write
But
checks.
I had a lot of clients like that, and it was eye opening for me of what success looked like.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's something that I think though is super important. The people that I've talked to and the reason that we started doing these images and things like that is it helps us get back to what you're talking about, which is everybody's playing their own game in the environment that they're in, doing the best that they can. And I did want to ask you about your experience. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but you probably know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I want to know too.
Ayahuasca.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tell us what that is and your experience with that when we're talking about this kind of reflection of who we are and what we're doing with our time and energy.
Yeah, for sure. So it's something I've been wanting to do for the last 11 years and just never was the right time. And the beginning of last year, 22, I guess, I started, I was at the brink again where I wanted to do it. But instead, I started doing psilocybin, which is mushrooms.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have learned to clarify with people is that ayahuasca and psilocybin is considered a plant medicine. And I was thinking it was all mixed in with like the CBD and the hemp and all that. But that's actually a whole different like energy. So they consider like CBD with like alcohol, where it's more of a toxin. But if anybody's done psilocybin, it's very similar. But as far as like ayahuasca, it literally is, I felt like for the whole week I had like one-on-one conversations with God. It's not hallucinogenic at all. It was not a psychedelic experience, but it really is just like a time of releasing your ego, and you see things for as they are.
What is it? Tell me what that
So what it is, it's a plant medicine. It's actually 2 plants out of Peru that are from 2 separate regions in Peru, and mixed together, it makes ayahuasca. And so what I think is, we hear about the balance of like yin and yang and male and female and masculine and feminine energy. So it's interesting how the 2 plants together make ayahuasca. So they make it has to be made like with a wooden spoon, and it's just brewed and you drink it. So it's like I did 1 shot the first night. We had 4 ceremonies. I was at a place called Saltara. And again, it's one of those things that for people who are ever interested in doing it, I would go to a retreat. I would not do it in the United States.
Yeah.
Would go to where it's native to their country or their work.
Where they know what they're doing. They actually, it's not somebody in the backyard.
Because you're really opening yourself up. I mean, you're very open, and so you want to be mindful of who you're allowing in and how. But it's facilitated. So we did 4 ceremonies over the period of 7 days. And like the first night for me, I went back to my childhood. I saw things that happened in my childhood, but it was like it's such a peace. And it was just, that I had the whole perception shift of, people did the best they could.
Yeah.
Parents did the best they could, that, it wasn't my fault, and so there was just an overwhelming like forgiveness and peace and letting go with that. The second night was about me getting into my path and my purpose. And, I mean, y'all know me for a while. So it's like, should I be an author? Should I be this? Should I do that? There's like 6 different things that I do.
I hate to stop you. I want to ask you though, each time there was a ceremony, was like you said, the first time you went to childhood, was it a guided thing, like that you would be talking about that, or what prompted the mind that you said? I don't know if that makes sense.
So you set your intentions. Each person there had different intentions.
Okay.
And so for me, my 2 intentions were to get clarity on, to clear like any sludge that I felt was like, that holds me back from anything. And the other thing was just to clarify like my path and my purpose.
Yeah.
And because there's a part of me I can be pretty guarded. And again, that goes back to just when you're hurt over and over, so much in your life, you can just kind of shut people out. And even the bad part about that is not only do you shut out the bad people, but you can shut the good people out too. But also, as a leader in the community and in the online world, I want to be a voice, an effective voice into the world. And so the second night when I was like, okay, what's my path? What am I supposed to do? What's my purpose? And I know this doesn't sound like so profound, but it was like super profound to me. And I was just like, what if your purpose is just to be you? And I was like,
what?
And it's like, okay. And it's like, you're not supposed to be like Bridget the realtor, Bridget the
titles,
and it's just like, just be Bridget.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just like, focus on family, and of course I've got work and my businesses, but it's just, like your family is your first ministry. Like your family is your core. Speaking, you brought family up earlier, and it's, focus on you, focus on your family, and everything else will fall into place. Like just be you.
Yeah.
And
well, it goes with your tattoo too, right? I mean,
I am who I am. Exactly. But it's very enlightening. So, even like with psilocybin, and, I go through, I'll start another cycle or protocol of psilocybin. I have to wait until the 22nd because it has to be 4 weeks after ayahuasca. But it's very enlightening. You have a very heightened sense of awareness. And like when I do the psilocybin, which is typically like 2 days on, 3 days off, and it's tiny. It's like 0.05 grams. I mean, you're doing like, that's why they call it micro dosing. You're doing such a small amount, and it changes the neurology of your brain, like physically. And so I'm in a study with Ohio State University. It's a 6-month study.
I saw that. And
also,
I was wondering about that because you're so into health and nutrition.
Yes.
So I know that you didn't just willy-nilly say, hey, let me just,
I know.
I'll drink that.
And the cool thing, I haven't shared it yet online because I haven't had time to just sit and document it all. But I even had some brain scans. So I had my first brain scan in May 2021 after a head injury that I had with an accident. And then I started neurofeedback. And then I did another brain scan about 3 weeks before ayahuasca, and then a brain scan after. And y'all, can you tell I'm from the South? Y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all.
How their brain physically changed. And you can literally see like in the video how the neurology is all like functioning together. You can see parts of the brain like where they changed just over a 3-week period. And so I know it changed like that for every person there, but the medical benefits and some of what they're doing with their study is they're using ayahuasca, neurofeedback, and then it's called EMDR, which is it's an eye movement type therapy, but it's really all about going into the brain. You know, brain health is like the new thing here lately. For me, I had to, because I wanted to cure my, they call it traumatic brain injury, and there's some PTSD that came with it, and that's
well, these plants, it sounds like, allow you to revisit these difficult past experiences and kind of see it from a different perspective to heal that up. And then that allows us to, because we build these, we solve the problem in the moment, that trauma, by kind of glossing it over, band-aiding it in some way. And that in my mind, it kind of keeps us from being kind of what you're talking about. I am. It kind of feeds into that, right?
And one thing, there's two resources I'll share. So one is The Body Keeps Score, is a book. And then there's a documentary called Reconnected. It's
what was the first one? The Body Keeps what?
The Body Keeps Score.
Okay.
And so and it teaches you how events in your life actually store in your body.
That makes so much sense.
And
I just have to say, it makes so much sense.
I'm like a nerd when it comes to documentaries and stuff, but there's a series on Netflix called Unsolved Mysteries. And so one of the things that I was watching last week, he was talking about is, so like people who have transplants. So say if I had like a liver transplant from Daniel, and Daniel loves to play the orchestra, or let's just say he plays, you like to play the orchestra, you're like a trumpet expert. But then I get his liver, and all of a sudden I have like this talent to play the trumpet.
You're welcome.
And it's like, and it's proof of The Body Keeps Score. And then the other documentary, it's called Reconnected. It's the guy that's on the London Reel. I don't know his name, but he's a well-known talk show kind of guy. But he actually shares his journey with ayahuasca.
Really?
How it works, and it's all on video. But it's fascinating. It
sounds like it.
That's something you've been wanting to do for a while, right?
It is, yeah. And it was just timing for me. And I did it with my husband, which was just a whole nother enlightening experience.
Was it enlightening in the same way for him? Like,
yes, and he's done it before. And when we met actually in Spartanburg, he's not from Spartanburg, but we actually met in Spartanburg. And when he told me he had hiked Machu Picchu and did ayahuasca, and I knew, like 24 hours, like we knew we were meant for each other.
Like,
I'm pretty sure this is going to be my husband, and here he is, he's my husband.
Well, that's awesome. Very, very quickly, I know that you two have been, as part of your after the wedding, you've been doing a lot of traveling. But now I think it's so fun. You've been visiting all of these sports clips, right?
Yes.
And you get to kind of see a rinse and repeat. So you're in a new town. I always think this is so interesting. You're in a new town with new people, but really only the names change, right? I mean, because the setup's the same.
Yeah.
I mean, so tell us about your experience and what you learned about visiting some of these locations thus far.
So the Sport Clips, it's so he has 53 locations over 6 states, and it's both of our love for people and meeting with the managers and seeing how the stores are doing, like, from a metric perspective. But, where I've come in and I've taken the role of chief people officer for the Sawyer Business Group, which really is a lot of what I've been doing, like with my previous business, but part-time I'm doing this. But, in reality, when customers come in, of course there's a manager, and then there's the stylist, and then the customers. And so we want to make sure that the customers are having a great experience. So like if you go into Sport Clips, Daniel, we want to make sure that, the stylist is good, the manager's good, you have the products that you need.
Yeah.
And then, based out of Spartanburg, we actually purchased 10 licenses for Eggs Up Grill.
Nice.
So it's merging Virginia and Spartanburg together, because we're living both places. And so it's like our way of like merging the two together.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I've heard great things about Eggs Up Grills too.
Their leadership is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Jenny, Winny, we're running out of time here. Any last questions?
I was on a roll and I had other questions, but fine. No, I really, it's just so interesting. And, it's like, it's just, I know we've met before, but the thing is that having this kind of conversation, we didn't have this kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't, now it's like, I feel like I know Bridget a little bit, it's like, this is what our whole goal is just
Yeah.
to meet and to really, it's like people might not ever have known about that tattoo. You
I
know,
know.
I'm just saying, it's just like this is the fun of getting to know everybody on a different
is.
level.
Yeah, what we're trying to do, Bridget, is change up the cadence and where it breaks the norm just a little bit,
Yes.
so that we can find out who people really are. And I knew that you'd be great for this because
Yep.
you're our first guest going.
Yeah, you're the first one we did like this, because usually it's just questioning, and it was like, you know what? This is how we want to get to know people, you know.
Yeah.
I
and
love
then
it.
little perks come out, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, you know where to find me if either of you ever want to reach out, and
Yeah.
we're in the same hometown. So whether
I
it's
know.
coffee or coming back online, we'll see.
Yeah,
Okay.
the next time I see you at Little River, I'm going to come say hello, Bridget.
I know. Yes. Yes.
I saw you out of the corner of my eye. I said, "Was that Bridget?" Oh, okay, keep walking. So
My oldest son loves to have coffee there. That's like his favorite. They take it. I love like just going and sitting outside having coffee. But yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll see. I'll see you guys.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yes.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I know you got a lot to do, so we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.